story that's well known throughout different parts of Southeast Asia. I'll give you the Cambodian version. Long, long ago, there lived a hermit in the forest, and he knew a great deal of magic. He was renowned, in fact, so people would come to study with him from all over. And one day, he held a contest for his 2 finest students. He called them to him and said, "Look, you 2 have been my best students for as long as I can remember. So I designed a contest just for the 2 of you. I'm going to see who out of the 2 of you is actually the best of my students. Here is an empty cup for each of you. I want you to go off, go home, and come back tomorrow with a cup full of morning dew. Whichever one of you returns first gets a prize." So one of the students was a goddess, the goddess of the seas, Mon Oct. And she thought to herself, what would be the best way to do this, the most efficient? So as she flew off to her abode in the sky, she's thinking and thinking. And the other student was not a goddess, he was an ogre, a giant, who was very powerful in his own right. And he thought, this is the easiest thing I've ever heard of. I am going to go party all night, in the morning I'll collect the dew and I'll come back. This is no brainer. So the next morning, indeed, the giant had been out all night, and when he got up, he saw that there was dew all over the place, and he went to a tree nearby, and he plucked a leaf, took the cup, and went, drip, another leaf, drip, so he's collecting the dew. Well, for her part, the goddess, the night before, had laid out a cloth on the grass, so that when she woke up in the morning, it was soaked with the morning dew, and all she had to do was ring it, and the cup was full. She did that. She flew back. They're all magic. So she flew back into the forest, met her teacher of magic, the hermit, and presented him with a cup of morning dew. And he said, "Mon Oct, that's her name. You are the first. So I'm going to take this morning dew and fashion it into a magic crystal ball. And this ball is very, very powerful. I trust you because I know you have a good heart and you wouldn't do anything bad with it. So with it, you can do whatever you want, but please go and do good." And she thanked him and he flew off to show all of her friends, the other gods and goddesses. Well, when the giant, meanwhile, was back at home, drip, 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 from all the leaves. When his cup was full, he flew off into the forest, and he didn't see the goddess, so he figured he was first. Kind of boastful, he said, "Well, here you go, teacher. I've got a cup of morning dew." And the teacher said, "This is great. Unfortunately, you're second, but it's still great. And out of this morning dew, I'm going to make you a magic axe. It's all sparkly and powerful. It's not as powerful as the sparkly ball I gave to Mon Oct, but it's great, and do good with it." Well, the giant, the ogre, had a kind of anger, greed, management problem. So he flew off in a rage. He didn't show the teacher. He flew off in a rage and tried to find the goddess. He saw her playing around with the gods and goddesses. He literally pushed his way through them all, came close to her and demanded the magic ball, and she didn't want to give it up. There was no reason for her to give it up. So she held it and put it here and there. He tried to reach for it and he couldn't, so he got so angry at one point that he took out his sparkling magic axe. He threw it at her. He missed her, but the skies shook. Then, moments later, she tossed the ball in the air before catching it, and it lit up the skies so much that it blinded the ogre. He fell to the ground, momentarily blinded, and she flew off through the clouds. When he got up, she was gone, and he vowed that he would get to her next year. He'd give her a year off, and then he'd go try to find her again. Well, for Cambodians, this story translates into the origin of thunder and lightning. When the giant throws his spangled axe and it lights up the skies, shakes the skies, that's the thunder. And when the goddess tosses her sparkling ball up and it lights up the skies, that's the lightning. And this story is danced in a sacred piece to sacred musical accompaniment at least once a year, most especially at New Year time in Cambodia, which is mid-April, the height of the hot, dry season, just before the rains will come to nourish the fields. So it's a way of calling forth the rains to start the new year, to bring nourishment to the land.